And straight after that, we've got Poppy. If you haven't seen Poppy's channel, go and check him out too. He's good for a chat, he's fun, and he makes cool stuff. And straight after that, we've got Poppy. If you haven't seen Poppy's channel, go and check him out too. He's good for a chat, he's fun, and he makes cool stuff.
Hey gang, Poppy here, and we're in the computer room. Look, this is a DC motor. This is basically it's a DC power supply. They call it a plating machine. It's got off, 2 volt, 4 volt, 6 volt, 8 volt, 10 volt. Let me zoom you in here so you can see. Two volts. Turning nice and slow. A little bit faster. 6 volts. Hey, it's really cooking, babe. 8. Wow. Let's go 10. Wow. Okay. Let's do something creative here. Come on, you go in there. Goes the other way now. It's reversible. Of course, then I knew that this motor. Come on, let loose. I knew that. Where are you? I knew. Yeah. There you go. What? Hey, there we are. Hey. I knew that this motor was reversible because it came out of a Pride easy chair lift. You know, it was a lift that easy chair so grandma or grandpa can get in and out without help from, 3 grandchildren and a niece or nephew. Anyway, when we got this thing, it was rated for 400 pounds of fat and smelly. Okay? So I know that this can turn my shear line lathe in 2 directions. Hi, babe. Say hello to the audience.
I'm not exactly dressed to say hello to the audience.
Well, just say hello.
Hello. Everybody take a shower.
Okay. Anyway, so I knew this motor was reversible.
Aren't you gonna do some laundry tonight, Christy?
Go out of your way to make noise when I'm recording, and you know it.
Sorry.
Don't you just love family? Anyway, I knew it was reversible. And when I opened up the casing to get inside at DC, oh, that simplified my whole life immensely. Oh, about this casing. Here it is. The motor. Motor goes in here and engages with the wine. It's a worm and a worm wheel. The worm and the worm wheel engage, and of course you get an automatic mechanical advantage from that worm slowly turning the worm wheel. So you saw how slow it can go. Torque. I know for a fact that this mechanism can run my lead screw. I'm pretty sure that this, without the mechanical advantage, can run my lead screw. But I have this just in case. Don't throw away the parts of the stuff you take apart, until you're absolutely certain you're going to need them no more. Anyway, this plastic case came out to about here, and I cut the cap off with an angle grinder. Now, I've been using this angle grinder to grind steel, iron, all kinds of metals, high-speed steel, Momax Cobalt high-speed steel. No problem. Just a little bit of rounding on the edge. Just getting through this thin plastic here, it took that wheel all the way down to where it looked like Gabby Hayes. Whiskers. I mean, destroyed that wheel. Stefan Gotzewinter, a couple, 3 months ago, posted a video where he was working with this plastic that ate carbide. Merrily, greedily, it ate the carbide tooling. Totally counterintuitive, carbide eating plastic. I don't mean welding to it and breaking the cutter. No. It wore this carbide away. And Stefan don't use no cheap carbide. Gotta be related. Anyway, so I've got a mechanical advantage already here, just in case. If I do it, I'll chop this like so, or so. Put it in my 3-jaw chuck. This end, I'll put in the other 3-jaw chuck in the tailstock. Maybe I'll chuck this in. Anyway, I'll turn it down. There we go. Back in. I'm back. See, I already done figured out how I was going to get the power from the motor to the street. Yes, I have. This is part of the inner guts of a Kirby vacuum cleaner Butler attachment. This went on the front of your Kirby like so. No, like so. And one of the accessories was a serious looking, come on you. Anyway, this flexible shaft. And it ain't no wimp. Let me get this on here. Okay. And you see it, bayonet capture. All right. I will have to make an extended power feed input from this far end of the power feed input. It's basically the threading attachment and power feed attachment, the outer rod. I've got two of them. One came with my power feed, one came with my threading attachment. I'm going to make a third one because it's going to have to be about 1 inch longer so that the chuck will grab on it. I'll get or make a nut here to jam nut it so it don't come loose when I run it backwards. Yeah. Okay. Check it out. Doesn't that tell you something? They want to go together. Oh, please, please, can we have permission? Will you let us get married? Maybe. Maybe. Otherwise, I turn down that lead screw till I could ram it in here. And that's for this. This web here gets milled or ground or removed in some controlled manner. I'll even record it. Then I chop this. Yeah. Motor. Power source plugs in here. I will make sure that it grabs real good. Flex shaft goes on here. And I've got all kinds of bracketing possibilities. Probably too much. I may have to chop a whole bunch off. Oh, lions, tigers, and bears. Oh, my. Only 11 minutes? Oh, well, hell. Why did I show you this plating, electroplating power supply powering this motor? I wasn't too sure. See, I ordered a 12 volt, 15 amp, dual control, voltage and amperage. Crank the voltage down, you can crank the amperage up. Just because it's going slow doesn't mean it has to be a weak sister now, does it? Anyway, I ordered that from Micromark, and it's coming. It'll probably be in Oklahoma Sunday. Now, I first tested this this motor, with a 12 volt battery. Yeah, it still goes in reverse, and a 12 volt will run it. And you saw how slow it went on 2 volts. I should be able to get my lead screw to go. And just reversing my thumb position on the rocker. Yeah, it's going to have a rocker switch. I don't know if it's going to be a pendant that I hold or it'll be attached to the front of my machining table, but it'll be either D or whichever way I choose to mount it. It's gonna work. I don't need no Arduino stepper motor. No. Good old-fashioned DC motor, DC power supply, 4 switches, and a couple of double banana plug fittings. I only need one. I have an extra. And if they won't fit the power supply I'm ordering from Micromark, I have copper wire. I have ways of making a fitting that'll plug in. It'll work. 13 minutes. Oh, okay. Since I showed it to you, I'll show it to you again. That's ProCraft. I bought this baby from Auto Fry in Oakland, California. They are a premier jeweler supply. If you're some kind of person that they would call a jeweler, even mistakenly, the guy who pushes those little red ruby joules into watch and clock movements. Or is that idiot with the pretty star and the carpeting and the air conditioning and the shiny everything? He buys and sells. That's a jeweler. Of course, then there's stone setters, stone cutters, gold casters, gold refiners, all kinds of other craftsmen. All kinds of craftsmen buy from auto frying. Anyway, that's where I got that plating, electroplating power supply. It's a voltage based. The more elaborate ones, they go for amperage. This, I only needed very simple direct current because I was using it for electrostripping. First job, I had a whole bunch of this gold-plated sterling silver dinnerware that the customer wanted the gold removed. Potassium cyanide, potassium ferrocyanide, and Rochelle salts dissolved in distilled water. The silverware is the anode. Big stainless steel anode, cathode, however you hooked it up. And stuff, the gold would go to it. Had an old toothbrush, brush, right? Fell to the beaker. Talk about make it easy for me. After that, I used it all the time when I wanted to from something, or sometimes after casting, I'd use it to clean up the. Oh, cyanide strip for a half hour. I'm gonna wash my hands, have a sandwich. Not as fast as 2 tablespoons of potassium cyanide. No, not potassium, sodium cyanide in a quart of warm water in a Pyrex casserole dish with a lid. Kept that out in the shop. After I cast some silver, piece of monofilament nylon, dip. Less than a minute of dip, dip, dip. Dead silver. Not white, silver. You want dead white in silver and sterling silver, you want a sulfuric acid pickle. Clean pickle. Dirty pickle, you don't get such, white. Oh, 17 minutes. I guess I wasted. But I still don't have enough footage. The 2 leads are going to come out of the power supply, and each of them will get 2 leads attached to them running to 2 switches. And each of these switches will go to one of the poles on that motor. Now the other polarity go to 2 other switches, which will go to the motor, right? And they'll be gang, positive. And I got mini limit switches with the arm and the little roller. I figure I'll hot glue them together. Probably have the levers pointing towards the rocker. Whether I hold it or mount it on, the machining table, I don't know yet. I'm going to go now because the girls don't know